At this point, we do not have a quorum, so we'll just operate. Everything will be a communique from the chair. And Mr. City Attorney, would it be okay to begin with, I have a public comment request. We don't have a quorum, but we're operating, communique from the chair.
General public comment, yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Bill Huey, please come forward. Good morning.
Good morning, Councilman Weston and members who are here of the Housing Committee. My name is Bill Huey. I'm the president of the Fair Housing Coalition. We're a group of landlords that believe in fairness and equality under the law for both renters and landlords. We believe that no one group should have an unfair advantage over another. Sure, there are bad landlords and there are bad renters. My 2 points I want to make this morning is one about REAP. When the city gives a renter a 50% discount, and considering that 2/3 of LA do not make a lot of money, a lot of people we have a lot of poor people in LA. When you give them a 50% discount, they will do what they have to do to keep the building in REAP. They'll tamper with smoke detectors and break windows. There's a few people that will do that. You're corrupting people by offering them such a valuable rent reduction. It's a very bad tease. It destroys relationships. And then landlords who are normally good people, now they want to start to play dirty. So both sides are playing dirty. It's a very bad thing to do when you give that 50% rent discount. If a landlord's really a bad landlord, you should impose fines. If you have to put a lien on the building, do whatever. But don't tamper with the rent money, because that destroys relationships. And in many cases, it drives the landlord out of business. Even after he's in REAP, he's out of business. And then he sells that building to a developer, and the developer comes in and evicts the people. And most of the people who are getting evicted in LA are low income. And the second thing I want to suggest is there's reforms needed at the housing department. One is there should be a phone number set up for landlords to call when they have a really bad tenant. Because bad tenants, I mean people who commit crime, violence, the police keep showing up. They endanger the other tenants in the building, and they lower the quality of life. You have 170 inspectors. Why not retrain 30 of them so landlords can call a hotline, meet with these inspectors, and they can evaluate if this tenant is doing things that are illegal, that's hurting the building, and that improves the quality of life for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I only see the one. Okay, again, thank you. I see it. Thank you, Mr. Huey. At this point, Anne Marie, what are you doing in the back? So you're not going to sit up here anymore? All right. Don't tell Mr. Curran. That feels better. If I had Anne Marie up here, it'd be perfect. Okay. But you'll do. Okay, so we've got some items on the consent calendar, and we will deal with those items right now. So if you could please start with item 3.
Item number 3 is the Los Angeles Housing Department report and City CAO report and resolution relative to authority to issue up to $15 million in tax-exempt multifamily housing revenue bonds for the Dunbar Village Apartments project.
Okay. Then, as a communique from the chair, we'll adopt the CAO report on that. We've just been joined by my good friend and colleague, Mr. Ed Reyes. That brings us to item 4. Please read item 4.
Item 4 is a Community Development Department report relative to status of grant applications awarded and submitted from October 1st, 2010 through July 31st, 2011.
All right, that'll be item 4. We'll receive and file the CDD report on that. So Brian, how are we pronouncing your last name? Is it Randall or Randall?
Randall.
With a O? All right. Item 5.
Item 5 is motion Perry for Reyes Parks relative to negotiation and execution of agreements for the assumption of the existing service payback community development block grant loan of up to $2 million for Broadway Square LLC for the development of the property located at 330331 North Broadway.
Okay, then on that item, we'll adopt the motion. That brings us to item 6.
Item 6 is an LAHD report relative to approval to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Los Angeles Consortium for Healthy, Sustainable, and Equitable Communities and the Southern California Association of Governments to apply for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Fiscal Year 2011 Sustainable Communities Regional Planning Grant Program.
Okay, so then we'll adopt the LAHD report with the amendments, and it's my understanding that you want to read the amendments in the record?
Sure. Amend recommendation 2C of the LAHD report dated September 1st, 2011 to read as follows. If awarded the grant, instruct the general manager, LAHD, or designate to report to council on the amount of grant funds awarded to the SCAG region, the City of Los Angeles' share of those funds, controller's instruction, program design, proposed in-kind match contribution, including but not limited to source and percentage, and other related actions necessary to implement the program before the grant is accepted.
All right, then we will note and file the city attorney's report on that.
That's the next item, sir.
What, I didn't hear you, Mr. Attorney.
I believe we were item 6, not item 7.
Oh, I forgot item 7. Oh, no, that was, what item was that?
That was item 6.
That was item 6. So, oh, because you just read the amendment. All right. Well, see, I wasn't prepared. I'm not the chair of this committee anymore. So now can we do, what do I have to do to correct this, Mr. City Attorney?
I believe it's already been corrected now.
Okay. I mean, all you had to do was come over here and whisper in my ear. You didn't have to say it in the microphone. So I will never forget that. And I will get you very good one of these days. Okay. Let's, item 7 then, Brian, or Mr. Randall. Mr. Randall, please read the last item.
Okay. Item number 7, City Attorney Report relative to the granting of payment extension deadlines for the public benefit payment and transfer of floor area rights payment for the Park 5th project.
Okay, then, Mr. City Attorney,
Yes,
or Mr. Randall, what will we do on this item?
Receive and note and file the City Attorney Report.
See, I was going to say that, but I was unsure. Anyway, good work. So these items will be deemed approved as a communication from the chair. That brings us to, do we have our commissioners here? Are they both here?
Yes, they are.
Okay, housing. Okay, why don't we bring them both up? So if you could read both items, Brian, and then we'll get started.
Sure. Item number 1 is a communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Ms. Daisy Lopez to the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles for the term ending June 6, 2013. And item number 2 is a communication from the mayor relative to the reappointment of Mr. Joseph Montez to the Industrial Development Authority Board of Directors for the term ending June 30th, 2014.
Okay, welcome, and we're just going to take the two of you together. We'll start with Ms. Lopez, and then move on to Mr. Montez. If you could tell us a little something about yourself and, why you've chosen to, devote time to make your city a greater city.
First of all, good morning, City Council members.
Relax, it's okay. I just screwed
I'm
up.
nervous, so
Don't be
bear with me.
Don't be nervous.
I look forward to serving as a HACA commissioner. My experience, I'm a resident, sorry.
Hey, you know what? Let me make it easier on you, okay? Let me ask you some questions. Is this the first commission that you've ever served on?
Yes,
The first. And are you from Los Angeles?
yes, I'm from Los Angeles.
And have you've been here your whole life?
Yes,
Have you done any other volunteer work or anything like that?
Yes, I have done volunteer work. I was the secretary for Fiscal, so for a year and a half, I had to resign to continue my education. I've done volunteer at the Youth Opportunity Movement,
Oh,
at the Pico Park as well, at 2nd Street Elementary, and at the church, Our Lady of Lourdes Church.
what do you do at the school, the elementary, or what did you do?
I used to be a first grade teacher assistant when my little brother was there, was like 10 years ago.
What, so they brought you there to
Yeah.
keep an eye on your little brother?
Yes.
So obviously the school survived. Well, anyway, I always, if I had a hat on, I would tip it to any resident of this city that is going to give of their time to try to make the city a better place. Now, you do know that the housing, your housing, right,
Yes.
authorities has had, been in the news lately, and I would hope that you would have learned from some of the bad judgments used by people that came before you, and that you would eliminate those once you are appointed. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Montez, thank you. There's a question by Mr. Reyes. And Daisy, relax. You're, with me, it's like you're in your mother's arms. You're okay.
That was a long time ago, but
Maybe her father's arms.
All state.
All state.
State neutral.
You're in good hands. Well, first I want to say congratulations.
thank you.
I can sense your emotion and your sense of, can I put this, nervousness. But I wanted to ask you, this is a very important role. And in terms of being exposed or understanding the process and the paperwork, have you been around the authority and the board where your role here, how do you feel about your role in this? Knowing how important it is.
I know it's important because I believe I'm going to be that bridge between the residents and the Huckler board members.
Great. Now, and I don't know if the staff could just answer from over there, from where we were sitting, but preparation and tutoring and clarifying documents before the board, is there like a training or a mentoring or a preparation for new board members? Can just someone come to the mic?
What was that again?
No,
Or is it-
well, we're asking for the representative.
Only because you knew
Okay.
that there's a certain orientation and how you prepare for the meetings, how to read the material, what to look out for, like where are the major decision-making points, because there's a lot of stuff coming at you. It's a big responsibility. I want to know what level of support and or training there is for new board members.
Yes, council member, we do have a board, we had a board orientation, and we've put together a board package and booklet for all the new commissioners to review. My name is Eric Brown. Sorry about
Mr.
that.
Brown?
I am the director of, what am I the director of? I'm the director of intergovernment and community relations for the Housing Authority. Media relations, and I've put together a commission book for all of our new commissioners. It has all of our new policies, all our old policies. It has our travel policies. It has parliamentary procedures. Has everything for a new commissioner to learn how to be a commissioner on our board.
And I would highly recommend Mr. Brown, only that in his role in previous lives, has been a very, very strong supporter of this city as a deputy mayor, understanding government resources, and you're in great hands as well. You're in good hands.
Thank you.
But thank you very
And
much.
you're going to take care of the concern that Andrew Westhall of my office talked to you about yesterday.
Absolutely, Councilman.
And you're going to do it very quickly.
Very quickly.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Montez, you are up for reappointment, so you're a pro. So, why do you want to come back for more?
Well, first of all, good morning.
morning.
Humbled to be in front of this esteemed council. I was as nervous as you, so you need to relax. To answer your question, Councilman, I spent 10 years as a Los Angeles police officer. After the LAPD, I went to the London School of Economics on a Fulbright, and then I joined Goldman Sachs and Company as an investment banker, both in New York and Los Angeles. And I've been an investment banker ever since. I sit on boards, and I own some technology companies as an equity owner. And I feel that being on this commission, I'm still a part of the city of LA. I can give my expert opinion on valuations. I can give my expert opinion on how deals should look. And I think that the esteemed colleagues in which I serve with on the commission, I think, would potentially agree with that, since I chair the committee.
Well, you know, that's one heck of a background, and very impressive. Very impressive. I have absolutely no questions. We have been joined by Councilmember Perry, so we do have a quorum at this point in time. So with that, to my fellow colleagues, if they have no more questions, I would recommend that we an aye vote on both of these candidates.
So if I may just ask one question.
Right ahead, Mr. Reyes.
How long were you on the Industrial Development Board?
I was appointed in 2007.
So it's been almost good 4 years.
Yes.
In those 4 years, is there one transaction and or action from this board that stands out in your mind that created jobs and or stimulated the kind of objectives that you set out to achieve when you came onto the board?
There are numerous transactions, and I think right now the challenge is that the industrial development bonds, the pricing of the bonds is not favorable, whereas banks, you can get financing through traditional banks at a much better rate. So I think as the economy improves, I think that our bonds will be much more attractive to people that are moving into the city of Los Angeles or that want to do business in the city of LA. I have personally recommended 8 transactions, and all I've done is the introduction, and then, you know, per the ethics, I just completely step away, and then they call me, and then I tell them, well, I can't do anything more. You have to go through the process. All I can really do is introduce you to the city of LA. So their experience has been good in the districts that they've implemented the industrial development bonds. I think, and this is just my opinion, I think that Councilman Garcetti kind of got the big picture on the industrial development bonds, in that he's made almost all of Hollywood an empowerment zone. And so I highly encourage the members before this bodies and others to kind of use his playbook, because we've been able to fund a lot of deals in Hollywood through federal, state, and local government assistance. And so I think, in a long-winded way of answering your question, most of the deals that I've seen have gone through Hollywood, because he's really, really focused in on what we call this hidden treasure, which is the Industrial Development Authority.
Now, there are several layers of empowerment zones. There's the federal empowerment zone, there's the state empowerment zone. Are you referring to the state empowerment?
I'm sorry?
Are you referring, there are different layers
Yes.
of empowerment zones?
Right. What he has done is he's made all 3 in Hollywood. So it makes deals very, very, very easy to go through the process.
Well, we did overlay state empowerment zones in areas that qualify throughout the city. So I'd be curious to see how much more was added, because each census tract has qualifications based on poverty level, based on certain mixes of zones. And so I'd be curious to see how that could be worked out, because that's a very good strategy.
Well, I know that at the beginning of the year, we had close to $270 million in bonds to deploy, yet nobody was asking to have those bonds deployed. And so I think as commissioners that sit on the board, we can only take the horse to where the water is. We can't make them drink it. And I think that to the extent that the city lets, the business community know that these are available, I think we would have a tremendous amount of leverage in using these bonds that we have that aren't currently being engaged.
Well, the council is only one phone call away, so if you see something like that for any one of our areas, I think that'd be great. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate your advocacy there.
USC has been very, very proactive in using these bonds. So I know that Council Member Perry she sees the hidden treasure of the Industrial Development Authority. So I think USC is another example of how these bonds can be distributed.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay. Hearing no questions, then without objection, we will recommend to the full body your reappointment and Ms. Lopez your appointment. Ms. Perry, thank you. It's done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did items 3 through 7 as communique from the chair. If you don't have any issues with those items, we can just make them a recommendation from this council. Okay, Ms. Perry's fine with that, so those items without objection will be deemed approved. Is there any more business, Mr. Randall, before this committee?
No, sir.
And this committee's adjourned.
So, is this the last one?